Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and a very warm welcome to Government House, Yarralumla. Dawa Nuna, Dawa Nunawel. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, the Nunawel people, and pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and emerging leaders, and all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders gathered here this afternoon. My name is Paul Singer and I'm the Official Secretary to the Governor-General. And as this badge signifies with its cross quills, I'm also Secretary of the Order of Australia, whose Council recommends appointments in the General Division to the Governor-General, who is both Principal Companion and Chancellor of the Order. And I'm also the Secretary of the Australian Bravery Decorations Council, the body which makes recommendations to the Governor-General for bravery awards. Before we start the ceremony this afternoon, I'd like to acknowledge among our distinguished guests, Commodore Matthew Dornbos, representing the Chief of Navy, Major General Simon Stewart, representing the Chief of Army, Air Commodore Nicholas Hogan, representing the Chief of Air Force, Mr Peter Woolcott, Australian Public Service Commissioner, Ms Rachel Noble, Director General of the Australian Signals Directorate, and Dr William Maiden, representing the National President of the Order of Australia Association. Welcome all. Notwithstanding the challenges presented by the pandemic, we're delighted to be able to proceed with hosting investiture ceremonies here at Government House. We're very grateful to you for your understanding of and compliance with the measures that we've put in place to ensure that these investitures can proceed in a COVID-safe manner. The Australian Honours and Awards system provides a wonderful mechanism through which we as a nation can recognise and celebrate ordinary people who do extraordinary things. Since its inception in 1975, almost 400,000 people have been recognised for their meritorious, bravery, military or national service. The Order of Australia is the principal means of recognising outstanding achievement, and it's important to recognise that nominations can come from all areas of Australian society. Anyone can nominate. Today is a special day, not only for the recipients, but also for their families, their friends, and their communities. It's a day when we celebrate a diverse range of impressive achievements and service. As staff at Government House, my colleagues and I are privileged to play a small part in the recognition and celebration of that achievement. I hope that we can make this afternoon a day that you'll all recall with pride for a long time to come. Shortly, I'll invite you to stand for the arrival of Her Excellencies the Governor-General and Mrs Hurley, and then remain standing for the singing of the first verse of the Australian National Anthem. The investiture will then begin in the order listed in your programs. After I read their names and citations, the recipients will enter the room from the doorway on my right, and after they've been invested by the Governor-General, will leave by the centre aisle to take up their seats at the back of the room. And at this point, you might like to show your appreciation with a short applause. At the conclusion of the investiture ceremony, I'll invite all recipients to join with Her Excellencies out on the state entrance stairs for an official photograph, and ask at this point if the guests could just remain briefly in the drawing room until such time as the recipients have left, and then we'll invite you into the dining room where afternoon tea and refreshments will be served. Their Excellencies and recipients will look forward to joining you after the photograph is taken. So, ladies and gentlemen, please relax and enjoy this very special occasion. Would you please stand for the arrival of Her Excellencies the Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia and Mrs Linda Hurley, and remain standing for the singing of the Australian National Anthem.
Australians, oh let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated.
Well, a very warm welcome to all this afternoon for a special day, of course, in the life of our recipients, for their families, and indeed for our nation, as we recognise significant contributions to our country, to our society, and to our communities. I begin by acknowledging that Government House here at Yarlumbla sits on the land of the Ngunnawal people. And for those who may have been here before, you'll often hear me say, we do thank them for looking after this beautiful part of our country for generation after generation, and pay respects to elders past and present. An important occasion, as I say, in the life of our country, when we recognise service to our country through many and varied activities and contributions. Today is special when we mark it because there's a lot of protocol about the day and getting here. Everyone's dressed up in their finery and uniforms, and that says it's important. But I heard Paul saying to you before I came in, this is also an Australian Government House, so you may relax, you may breathe, and you may applaud at the appropriate times. It's a day to be joyous as we recognise these marvellous men and women. Could I particularly thank the families that are here today? I know that not one of the recipients would be here today if it was not for family support. So this is a very special day, I know, for you all, but could I particularly thank you for your contributions. At the end of the official ceremony, somewhat unexpectedly, you will think I'm going to issue you some homework. So I want you to take careful note as we conduct the ceremony in terms of the range of activities that people are involved in, the diversity reflected in the awards, and to think about that, have it in the back of your mind when I issue the homework. Our award system has, I think, one very special, perhaps unique characteristic to it, and it's what I term a bottom-up system. That is, people, particularly from the general community, are being recognised because their peers in the community saw their work and thought it worthy of recognition. They nominated them. Ours is not a system where some authority sitting in Canberra reaches down and says, oh, someone is doing a good job, we should give them a medal. This is your system, and it works through your nominations. So again, bear that in mind as you're watching and applauding this afternoon, because it's wrapped up in your homework. This system is your system and relies on you and your knowledge of your community to continue to perform its proper role and function. So please, relax, enjoy. You'll hear about some amazing people in this afternoon session. And then Linda and I look forward to meeting you all after the formal ceremony. And on that note, I will now commence the investiture ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, to be presented with the insignia of his appointment as a member in the General Division of the Order of Australia, Dr. Gregory Feely. For significant service to tertiary education and to Australia-Indonesia relations. Dr. Feely is a highly regarded scholar of Indonesia and in particular Islam in that country. He is respected internationally for his knowledge and is frequently consulted on developments in Indonesian Islam by academics, policymakers and the media. He's also well known for his generosity to younger researchers and devotes much of his time assisting postgraduate students and early career academics. He's been the key driver of a partnership in Islamic education scholarships, bringing PhD researchers from Indonesia's Islamic university system to the Australian National University, where they are mentored by senior academics. Dr. Feely's made an exemplary contribution to the bilateral relationship between Australia and Indonesia through the deepening of people-to-people links. Dr. Gregory Feely appointed a member of the Order.
senang mempersatukan medali pada ini hari ini. Pekerjaan Anda sudah sangat meningkatkan hubungan Australia Indonesia.
Terima kasih banyak Yang Mulia.
Right on.
Appointed a member in the General Division, Mrs. Genevieve Jacobs, for significant service to the broadcast media and to the community. Mrs. Jacobs is a prize-winning newspaper journalist and radio broadcaster and is well known to the community of Canberra and surrounding regions. She's a rarity in the modern media landscape. She has an enduring interest in bringing communities together through creating discussions that are both inclusive and diverse. Joining ABC Radio Canberra in 2006, she has shared her passion for politics and current affairs, history, the arts and the environment. Often described as the voice of Canberra, her focus has been on local news and talking with people about the issues affecting them, and her interview style is both sensitive and thoughtful. Mrs. Jacobs' contribution to our community is most noteworthy, and we recognise her commitment today. Mrs. Genevieve Jacobs, appointed a member of the Order. Appointed a member in the Military Division, Colonel Nicholas Certis, for exceptional service to the Australian Defence Force in the reform and delivery of military policing capability. Colonel Certis commanded the 1st Military Police Battalion during an intense operational period. In addition to commanding personnel deployed internationally in Iraq, Afghanistan, East Timor and Malaysia, he co-authored the Forced Modernisation Review designed to develop the battalion into a professionally skilled, agile unit. As the Provost Marshal of the ADF, he was responsible to the Chief of Defence Force for the Military Police Reform Program, the most significant reshaping of Australian military policing ever undertaken. In addition to his contribution to generational reform, he commanded the Joint Military Police Unit with judgment and strong leadership. Colonel Certis has provided an assured and professional military police to the Australian Defence Force at home and on operations. Colonel Nicholas Certis, appointed a member of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Mrs. Elizabeth Avery, for service to swimming. Mrs. Avery is a much admired member of Swimming Australia. Commencing with the organisation prior to Sydney 2000 Olympic Games, she's been involved in all levels of the sport. She plays a pivotal role in the behind-the-scenes administration of national events and is also responsible for applying for world records for our swimmers. She was an integral to the delivery and development of swimming in the Australian university environment, forming part of a team which delivered the Unisport swimming competition. As recognition, when her role with Unisport finished in 2019, the National Women's Perpetual Trophy was named in her honour. Mrs. Avery has been a true asset to the sport of swimming. Mrs. Elizabeth Avery, awarded the Medal of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Dr. Michael Banyard, for service to veterinary science. Dr. Banyard has been a leading light in developing our knowledge of natural ecosystems and our impact upon them. He recognised the threat to Australian wildlife from feral animals and habitat destruction and was vital in the creation of Specialist Interest Conservation Biology Group within the Australian Veterinary Association. He has served as president of that group since 2016. He's been a linchpin in the analysis of exotic diseases that enter Australia and transition into endemic fauna, then becoming a source of disease for our nation's livestock. Dr. Banyard has generously volunteered his time and expertise to this vital work of protecting our important agricultural industry and food biosecurity. Dr. Michael Banyard awarded the Medal of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Ms. Brenda de Bez, for service to youth through Scouts. Ms. de Bez has been an active volunteer member of Scouts Australia for 74 years, commencing as a cub leader in Canberra in 1946. Since that time, she has provided immense service to the community through the training and development of generations of young people in the ACT region. In her current role, she is responsible for the history and heritage aspects of ACT Scouting, as well as being a member of the Appointments Committee. Each of her varied positions in the Scout movement represents her consistent commitment to contribute to the movement's program to create opportunities for the development of youth members. Ms. de Bez's service to young people has been exemplary, and we recognise and honour her dedication today. Ms. Brenda de Bez awarded the Medal of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the Military Division, Chief Petty Officer Jeremy Pitchford, for meritorious service in the field of maritime communications and information system support. Chief Petty Officer Pitchford, as Operations Manager for Fleet Information and Communications Technology Support Darwin, was instrumental in ensuring operational capability for Armidale-class patrol boats, force assigned to Operation Resolute. During his posting as the Operations Manager for Defence Communications Station Sydney, he developed new processes and procedures in order to streamline operational output from that unit. In HMAS Brisbane, he was instrumental in the ship achieving operational capability prior to and following commissioning. Chief Petty Officer Pitchford's significant achievements across multiple postings embraced Navy's values and signature behaviours. Chief Petty Officer Jeremy Pitchford awarded the Medal of the Order. We move now to the Distinguished Service Decorations. Awarded the Commendation for Distinguished Service, Squadron Leader Richard Letts. For distinguished performance of duties in warlike operations as the Combined Joint Operations Centre Train Advice Assist Command Air Liaison Officer from September 2018 to March 2019, while deployed on Operation High Road. Squadron Leader Letz's deployment was characterised by a significant shift in focus to operationalise the Afghan Air Force. He developed and implemented processes to better integrate the Afghan Air Force into ongoing US-led operations across Afghanistan. This resulted in improved operational effectiveness of the Afghan Air Force. He was also the driving force behind a comprehensive restructure of Afghan Air Force reporting, which benefited coalition situational awareness across operations. Squadron Leader Letz's endeavours have advanced the standing of the Australian Defence Force Operation High Road mission with both Afghan and coalition partners. Squadron Leader Richard Letz awarded the Commendation for Distinguished Service. We move now to the Conspicuous Service Decorations. Awarded the Bar to the Conspicuous Service Cross, Colonel Damien McLaughlin. For outstanding devotion to duty as the Director Technical Regulation and Evaluation Army in Logistics Branch, Army Headquarters. Colonel McLaughlin has displayed an untiring dedication to improving the framework by which Army manage the technical aspects of land capability. He developed and implemented the Land Materials Safety Manual, which significantly reduced the regulatory burden and simplified land material maintenance activity processes. He's also developed the concepts, frameworks and implementation plans for defence landworthiness, which resulted in the publication of the Landworthiness Manual. Colonel McLaughlin's efforts have significantly changed maintenance culture across the land force and will deliver additional capability to the Australian Defence Force. Colonel Damien McLaughlin awarded the Bar to the Conspicuous Service Cross. Awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal, Lieutenant Zulkarnain Naim, for meritorious devotion to duty as the Navy Advisor on Intercultural Affairs. Lieutenant Naim's efforts as Navy Advisor on Intercultural Affairs have been exceptional. His delivery of cultural education, strategic advice, community engagement, and the Multicultural Navy Cadet Unit, New Training Ship Australia, has positively impacted countless young Australians. He's driven policy development, educated personnel on cultural traditions, practices and sensitivities relating to individuals of Islamic faith. Lieutenant Naim has greatly enhanced Navy's reputation in the Australian community as an inclusive organisation. Lieutenant Zulkarnain Naim awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal. We move now to the Meritorious Service Awards. Awarded the Public Service Medal, Ms. Lisa Schofield. For outstanding public service in the delivery of the treaty establishing maritime boundaries between Australia and Timor-Leste. Ms. Schofield has been integral to the delivery of the treaty between Australia and Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste relating to the establishment of maritime boundaries in the Timor Sea. Her negotiating skills were critical to the resolution of major issues pertaining to national boundary changes, as well as for the oil and gas investments in the region. She navigated a complex political environment and deftly steered amendments to over 30 pieces of legislation spanning 8 government portfolios. Ms Schofield's drive and determination has been key to the implementation of the treaty and has strengthened the bilateral relationship between Australia and Timor-Leste. Ms Lisa Schofield awarded the Public Service Medal. Awarded the Public Service Medal, Ms Jennifer Wilkinson, for outstanding public service in the development of fiscal policy, particularly in the formulation of the Australian Government's economic response to COVID-19. Ms Wilkinson's expertise as an economist and public policy thinker has enabled the Australian Government to deliver one of our country's largest economic stimulus measures, the JobKeeper program. As principal architect of JobKeeper, she collaborated with the Australian Public Service and the private sector to deliver a program designed to provide crucial financial support to over 3.5 million Australians to maintain their employment during the COVID-19 pandemic. As head of the Parliamentary Budget Office, she's been essential in assisting the government with the implementation of its fiscal strategy. Ms Wilkinson's contributions have been critical to our economic response during the COVID-19 pandemic. Ms Jennifer Wilkinson awarded the Public Service Medal. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the presentations this afternoon.
Well, we have acknowledged each of our recipients individually. I think it would be appropriate now to acknowledge them as a group. Congratulations all. Well done. Right, and we have now seen a reasonable spectrum of activities for which people are acknowledged under the Order of Australia and our meritorious awards, and the type of work or achievement that the individuals have provided for us. Your homework. You know where the others are. You know in your community, in your workspace, in your professional area, where people are making a similar contribution to our country. We need you to nominate them. The system does not work without nominations. A couple of other points. Diversity. In this group, we have roughly 50-50 male-female. That's not the case across the board. We are still growing the number of women being represented in our system, which is good and it is growing, but we need to do more. So please think about that when you go back. And secondly, in terms of our diversity of Indigenous representation, it is not high enough. And secondly, for people who come to Australia from other cultural backgrounds. We need to reach out into our broader community because our system should reflect who we are as Australian. It is happening, but it needs to accelerate. It needs your support. And what I would love to do is mark your homework as people come through the door here in the next year or two. So please go back and have a think about this. Paul will mention to you how you can nominate, but it's important that we do. Again, congratulations to all our recipients. Thank you to all the families represented here for the work you do. Our country is richer for all of your contribution to what we do in our many, many varied fields of endeavour. So congratulations. And as I said, Linda and I look forward to meeting you all. Well done.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, as the Governor-General has said, it is easy to nominate a fellow Australian and anyone can do it. Just access the online nomination form via the Governor-General's website which is at www.gg.gov.au. And as the Governor-General has indicated, we hope to welcome the successful people that have been acknowledged through the Order of Australia back to Government House for a ceremony such as this in the next year or two. Ladies and gentlemen, I now invite the recipients to join their Excellencies for a formal photograph on the state entrance stairs. Would you please stand for the departure of Their Excellencies, the Governor-General and Mrs Hurley, and the recipients.